All right, boys, the NBA never quits. This is from Woj and Shams. James Harden picking up his $35 million player option, and he and the Sixers are working together to explore trade scenarios. It's expected Harden has played his last game for Philadelphia, and of course, I believed he was going back to Philly. And of course, the big question here is to who and what are the potential offers and all that. We can get to that in a second, but real quick, what do we think prompted this whole thing? Was this like a contract negotiation that didn't get to where Harden wanted it to get to with Philly? Is this just a, you know what, I'm not feeling it here anymore sort of thing? Is it possible that he's already got a wink-wink with somebody else? I don't know. And I just saw from Woj and Shams that they both mentioned the Clippers, and Woj also mentioned the Knicks, so we'll get to that in a second. But, for Philly's sake, can they make a move here that doesn't make them fall back a bit? I mean, look, I understand James Harden, not the same dude, the Houston days and all that. Still an awesome playmaker. Still the Harden and Embiid pick and roll was as effective as you could ask for until it all became a little predictable in the playoffs. And you can talk about like Maxi's potential ascension and all that, because I think we all believe Maxi can definitely handle more on offense. But still, if Philly's not going to be able to get a player as good as Harden back, then who knows? And maybe this balloons into something crazy because there's been some Tobias Harris rumors going around, and he's on a lot of money, and he's on an expiring and all that. Anyway, the Clippers have been by far the number one team mentioned. I mean, as I've been doing this, Chris Haynes also mentioned the Clippers as well. I am trying to imagine how much leverage Philly has here, because, I mean, of course, free agency starts tomorrow, and so in the sense of like, well, do you want to deal with this early and then be able to get to all your other stuff, or is it just sit on your hands and wait for the best possible offer? But when you think about, the amount of time that Harden has in his contract and the fact that only a title contender is going to want him and whatever else, like, I don't know, the Philly leverage thing is interesting. Now, I do remember the last time there was a big old thing about how much leverage does Daryl Morey have. He pulled off the Ben Simmons-James Harden trade, and a lot of people were doubting that he could get anything good in that move. Now, as far as how it's gone in the Harden-Philly days, but for that specific move, he did well. So anyway, let's get to the Clippers, because they're by far the number one team mentioned. I mean, I feel like the Clippers would love to have Harden, Kawhi, and PG, right? Now, between the injuries of Kawhi and PG and Harden's age, like, I already know what people would say. But I still imagine that's what the Clippers would want. But if you remove Paul George from the equation, then it's like, there just isn't a good return there for Philly from a player's standpoint. I mean, like, I like Norman Powell, I love Terrence Mann, but like, if that's the best you're getting back for Harden, then that's just not very fun. Like, so I don't know. If we can get to the Knicks, which, look, I don't know how real the Knicks stuff is, but Woj mentioned the Knicks, so okay. And, maybe I'll mention Phoenix as well, because I guess they just have to be connected to any potential star. There was a Kyrie Irving thing earlier, which I don't think is going to happen, but at this point, who the hell knows? But yeah, like, look, the Woj, he said the Knicks. I keep on saying that. I don't know why. Like, RJ Barrett's not getting traded for James Harden, right? I don't know. I feel like anything is impossible to predict at this point. I've seen a little bit of like, would it be Randall for Harden and that sort of thing, and oh boy, I was not prepared for this. Everything I'm saying out loud, I'm like, no, that's not going to happen, but I just need to accept that something is clearly going to happen with James Harden now. Now, whether Philly will get an awesome return back or not, I guess that's really what I'm asking myself as I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. I mean, hell, what about the Heat? They were rumored for Bradley Beal. They already had a little Damian Lillard, if he becomes available thing. Like, well, Harden is available. Like, did they jump on this with, some of the picks they have to offer? And then, Tyler Hero becomes the big swing thing there. And obviously he's not as good as Harden. Like, I don't know, man. Let's get to Phoenix. So, the Kyrie report earlier. Look, the Suns, for them to pull off anything, it would have to be DeAndre Ayton moving. That's the one tradable contract they've got. And you know what? If Phoenix ends up with James Harden, then I just accept that the 2023 and beyond version of the NBA is as close to what you would do in 2K, just trading players like crazy, that we've ever gotten to. Last thing I'm going to say, because I have not mentioned Joel Embiid much in this thing. I think Joel's feeling throughout this entire thing. Now look, obviously so much of this is going to depend on a return for James Harden. And to be fair, even if the return ended up not being great, which again, we don't know yet, I don't think Joel would then immediately be like, get me out of here. Okay, I think Embiid, which is how he feels about Philly and that team and everything, it feels like he really, really wants to win it in Philly. And I feel like he would go all the way to the possible end of the, oh crap, I really can't get it done here, can I? Before he started considering, basking out and all that stuff. Like, I know it's been a popular thing to bring up here and there. I still feel like we're decently far away from it, but I mean, I also didn't think James Harden was going to be getting traded like this. Is there the possibility of Houston? Like, it does seem like a lot of that has kind of died down at this point. It does seem like there's a lot of something with Houston and Fred VanVleet and all that. Like, it seemed like if Harden was going to end up in Houston, it would have been through signing there, So, okay, A lot of people are mentioning the Clippers right now, thinking about Philly's leverage, thinking about Joel Embiid. Woj mentioned the Knicks a little bit. I feel like you just have to naturally, I'm saying the same things over again. Okay, James Harden, man.